Hello, my friends. How are we doing? How are we doing, everybody? Can you hear me? I bet you can, because my microphone's probably on the other end. I'll check on some things. Yep. 1 second. And there we go. We are back. All right. How are we, everybody? You can hear me now. Yeah, sorry, I was using my podcast mic, so had to swap over. Well, everybody, thanks for waiting. Hopefully you were able to catch the stream a little bit earlier from Final Fan TV. Great time over there with some dear friends. My team sadly lost in the last play of the game. Una and David Vink and Pro Jared took the win right out from under our noses. Blitz and Baby Seal and I did not quite pull it off. We dominated for most of the game. It was back and forth, but we did pretty good. But it was a lot of fun. You should definitely check it out in the YouTube archive over on Final Fan TV. So, but it was, I can't be mad. That was so fun. That was so fun. I also intentionally avoided the chat because I didn't read any of the chat that was happening because I haven't finished Rebirth yet, and so I didn't want to spoil myself or anything like that. So, anyway, welcome to the chat tonight, everybody. Welcome to our lecture play of episode Ignis. Good. I'm very glad that I did not look in the chat because I know enough to say So anyway. Well, everybody, let's get into episode Ignis together. This is a great DLC. It was not day one, though the story of it is, for the most part, you could deduce it, but there are some things in episode Ignis that we are going to learn tonight. We left off, first of all, let me welcome everybody. What's up? Welcome to the stream, to the lecture play of Final Fantasy 15. My name is Wade, aka ProfNoctis. I'm an actual member of the faculty at the University of Alabama, where I teach a number of classes, especially the subject of this class, which is Judeo-Christian kingship through Final Fantasy 15. We explore the history and theology of religious kingship in the Old Testament, moving into Messianic kingship through the game Final Fantasy 15, and we are continuing with that. Where we last left off, we were in chapter 13, where a lot was revealed. We discovered that Arden was the rightful first king, or would have been the first king of Lucis, but then it was stolen from him. We're going to learn more about that when we get to episode Arden on Tuesday. But now that we know the big reveal of Arden Lucis Kylum, we now shift gears, and because episode Ignis kind of assumes that you know that, so I always play this after chapter 13, even though it tells us the story of how Ignis went blind in chapter 9. So it's kind of like going back, right? Tonight, the other reason that I do episode Ignis at this point is because chapter 13 shifts gears for how we understand Arden and understand Noctis. Beginning in chapter 13, or at the end of chapter 13, we think of Noctis more as a messianic Messiah figure, very much in line with Jesus. And so we're going to be thinking a little bit about Jesus, Messianic theology through the lens of 1st century and really kind of 400 BCE and on, Judaism and ancient Near Eastern concepts. Okay, so that's one of the things that we're doing tonight. In order to really pick up on this, there's going to be a couple of conceptions of Messiah and Christ that we need to pick up on, and I'm going to kind of explain that as we go tonight. All right. So with that, why don't we go ahead and get started with this, and we'll kind of talk about Ignis and all the characters. Okay? Are we ready? Are we good, everybody? I've got my coffee refilled, and we're gonna go. Also, let's just freaking vibe to this banger music. Glad you're here. Tonight I am using the Mario Warp Pipe mug. Let's do this. New game. We ready. We ready. We ready. Hey, ho, let's go. It is a cute mug. Okay, travel back. Remember chapter 9. Oh, yeah. The soundtrack is out of this world. What an epic scene. Luna facing Leviathan there. Wow. Okay. You're forced.
Listen well.
Leviathan.
A king cannot lead by standing still. A king pushes onward always, accepting the consequences and never looking back. That said, a king can accept nothing without first accepting himself. Should he stand still, I ask you to stand by him and lend him a hand, as his friend and as his brother. Please, take care of my son.
Coincidentally, what Ignis says to Noctis and the rest of the group in chapter 10.
I'm afraid I must ask your forgiveness.
I don't know how old they are. I were.
The trial should be over by now, right?
Can't tell a bloody thing from here. Let's make for the altar.
We're not going to do verse 2 because of spoilers for chapter 14. We're not. Good question. I got to be respectful of my students. So, yeah. We may check back in after chapter 14 to do that, but awesome, Omega. Welcome in. Yeah, we can come back to do verse 2. That'd be fun. Just not tonight. The bridge is out. And we have swimming mechanics. Look at the rubble of this place. Wow. You know, part of the canceled Aranea DLC was going to take place in the ruins of Altisha.
Oh, Iggy, I thought you were a goner.
take more.
That's an interesting idea, Iken.
I'm more worried about Noct. I'll find a way to the altar, but I need you to keep the enemy distracted.
You got it.
I need that vantage point.
I do like the combat in episode Ignis. It's real good.
They've got eyes everywhere.
There was Lunchbox. It's all in the Days of Future Past, or Dawn of the Future DLC. Oh, here we go. Where we at? Where we at? Oh, dumpsters. Frostbind my daggers. Let's go. That is the book now, yes. No, you don't. You guys need to chill. Hmm.
I've noticed distraction.
Hmm. Oh. Time for some lightning? Okay. How about a dodge? Ooh. There we go. Oh, well, that was shocking, wasn't it, Iggy? Hey, yo! Up. Blockade. Up. No items down there. Oh, hello. You want a little bit of a jolt? Got you. Up. I got them jokes. Oh, it's time to focus. Gain clarity of focus. Oh, more friends.
They just keep coming.
Time to heat things up. Oh, a counter strike. Oh, electrifying. You know, I gotta keep it cool. Oh, ow, that was pain. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Everybody chill out. Okay, now where were we? Interesting. Did I miss one? Is everyone dead? Oh, I have to gain total clarity. There it is. We have so much clarity. Stormbound. That's it. I had to get clarity. I didn't do it though. There we go. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that. That's okay though. Iken, I would love that actually. I would love for there to be a cloud or somebody. Now I remember Noctis. Anybody remember when you had Link in Soul Calibur 2? But for now, it's Spider Iggy. Oh, thank you for the gift subs. This is such a cool scene, right? Be safe. Noctis! Oh no, the district has fallen. But that's okay. We're not really going to play the whole, all of those district capture sort of things.
All units, the Hydraean has fallen to the Arcan. Imperial forces moving from the city center toward the altar.
Okay, can you get up, Iggy? Oh my goodness.
Immediately. I repeat, all units withdraw immediately.
Clarity. There we go. Alright, we need to... Oh, we need to kill this guy now.
It's over!
Dragoon Iggy. Fast as lightning. Time to get overhealed. I'm gonna hit you with my recipes. Oh, you thought?
The Empire has the Archean surrounded until he smashes their ships, that is.
And I need to get to the altar before that happens.
You could try crossing the eastern bridge, if it's still standing.
Here's to hoping.
I love some fighting games, I'll tell you.
Fingers crossed.
Madam Secretary, come in.
What now?
I need your help. I fear Noct is in danger.
Ah, Hillary.
The entire city of Altisha, in case you haven't taken a look around. He and his girlfriend are probably long gone.
No. I made a promise to keep him safe. A promise I intend to keep.
Oh, noble. I'll see what my men can do, but I won't promise anything.
Wow, what a leap.
Ignis here. Do you copy?
Loud and clear.
What's your status?
Preoccupied.
Hope you're not prone to motion sickness here. Because I am not. We are gonna. Ooh, we are getting blowed up.
Prompto? Prompto! Do you copy?
We're just speeding. Zip out of there. There we go. To the top of the clock tower. Let's go. It makes you think of what? Spider-Man? Or, Rise of the Ronin? We have to get to the altar. I love the desperation for Iggy here. Like, it's really good. You really kind of feel it.
Weskin mentioned a bridge.
To the bridge. Ow, ow, that I just got blowed up. I want to play Ronin. Okay, climb up.
Prepare yourself.
Okay, get away from those things. Whoa, maybe don't do that. Good grief. I'm not sure that did any damage. Oh, you jerks.
This can't be.
It can be. Just get up. Ooh, ow, 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 ow. Oh, dodge better than that, Iggy. Oh my goodness. Woo, that was pain. Just got nailed by a missile. Okay, let's just... There you go. Oh my gosh, this is not going great.
Drat.
This is not going great. Holy smokes! Let's go, let's go. Come on. Upsy daisy. Boop. Right, he dove into the water. Okay, these guys are not. This is going really, really well, you guys.
This can't be.
Okay, let's try again. They don't realize we got lectures to do tonight. There we go. Okay, we did it! To the bridge. Oh, hi there, opening. The bridge. Well, never mind. What an intro.
Have you located the ring yet, Commander? And what of Luna Freya?
Both, High Commander. But our forces are unable to extract either at present. We've...
Just a quick reminder, everybody. So this guy over here is Caligo, and this is Ravus. We know Ravus, that's Luna's brother, but Caligo, you may have forgotten. He appears in chapter 7, maybe 6, chapter 6, but he's also the one that killed Jared. We like to call him Doug, Doeg the Edomite from 1 Samuel. So anyway, there he is.
No way of approaching the altar so long as the Archean stands in our way.
God's son. Neither the king nor the oracle will escape with their lives if the fighting continues. Order a full retreat. I'm going in alone.
But sir...
But sir...
I assume you are already familiar with how I got this arm.
Yes, sir.
And you must also know the ring is worthless without one who can wield it.
Rare Kingsglaive reference.
How dare you address me with such impudence? Has he forgotten his place entirely? Or is he too concerned about his sister to care?
Maybe a little bit of both. I love that Ignis gets a chance to redeem himself after he let Caligo escape, right? I think that's really cool. Which way to the altar?
You're mine!
There we go. Yeah, it really gives some conclusion to that arc, which I think is really cool. Okay, where is our place to go?
They just keep coming.
They do. Okay, where is our map? Oh, I guess we still have to go down there. Okay, I see. So I just have to wipe them out. Got it. Wow, fall damage. There we go. Let's do this. That was not the best choice. We should have done lightning or ice.
Yeah.
Not the curl. Got him. Nice. Oh, good, a mech. Overclock. Yeah, I think so too, Aiken. Whoa, that hit hard. Let's not drown. Noctis needs you. There we go, there we go. Big jump, big jump. Is it over? I don't know if it's over. We did break him, so... Oh, no. More potions. Yeah, it sure did. I think that the Aranea DLC would have been pretty cool. The added Luna DLC and the Noctis DLC, I don't love from a narrative standpoint, but it would have been fun. Any time in this world that's added, I like. But from a narrative standpoint, it wasn't going to be my favorite. Up. There we go, yeah. And we still got hit. That's okay. Hi, Racy, what's up? Yeah, seriously, a hook shot would have been amazing on these mechs. How about a high jump?
Attention, all units.
Grade A, that's right. Oh!
Depart in 3 minutes.
Wait, I'm headed to the altar. I need a boat.
Have you lost your marbles?
No, but we'll lose the king if we don't act.
Give him what he wants.
Understood.
You've my thanks.
Keep them. I'll take Gil instead.
Hillary.
Do you copy?
Cool guys don't walk away from explosions. Cool guys stay in them.
Yes or no?
Yes, I copy.
Then speak up next time. Look, I'm just as worried as you are. But we can't go losing our heads. If we want to save Noct, we've got to keep it together.
Yes. I suppose you're right.
We'll keep moving. Hang in there, Iggy.
I will. Thanks.
All right. Wee. Okay, where's our little... Oh, hello. Men don't run. Yeah, that's so true. It's my new toxic masculinity brand. Yeah, look forward to it. Men don't run from explosions. They just stay in them. Okay. Stay in it. Let's go, baby. Okay, big jump. Can I? Nope. I thought I might be able to hook shot my way up there, but turns out, no, you can't. I would love to hop into the boat. I would love to see a Waffle House Tekken stage. How fun would that be? Just keep swimming, Iggy. Oh, there's the boat. There's the boat. There's the boat. Yeah, men don't run from water. They stay in it. Men don't run from walls. They run into them. That's ProfToxic. Stay tuned for the new channel hook. Whee! Oh my gosh, more water. Are you kidding me? Ignis, I like you, but your traversal right now is a little lacking. Let's just run over here. Fire is pretty toxic. You're so right. Oh, crap. Another door. Ah, a stairway. I feel it. We're so close. Oh, look. A metal scrap. Let's jump through the bushes. Oh, look. Friends. Hi, refugees. Hello. Hello. But first, let's have a coffee. Or just look at the map pensively. Potions! We will save our progress because we don't know what's around this river bend. Like Pocahontas. Just around the river bend. Look at the Dasanis over here in Altisha. What's up, guys? And is that coffee? That looks like a coffee thermos. And a vegetarian meal. Look how wildly specific these are. Oops. We have vegetarian meals. We have, focus. I can't read them as well here. It's not ebony coffee. You're so right. Oh, listen, I'm in it to win it tonight, you know? I'm hyped up off of that last game show that we did. And then I also, I got to do this. And then after that, I'm probably going to play some Rebirth before bed. I may not go to bed. Who knows? All right, everybody. So, we've kind of piddled around. We've gone through some districts, but we are about to get to some lecture content. So, as soon as we meet Ravus, we're going to get into it, okay?
There you are, ready to ship out. Ready as I'll ever be. We best get the civilians out of here while there's still time. Listen, are you sure about this? Of course.
Guys love dad jokes.
Both of you.
To the boat. All right. Let's freaking go. Oh, I'm sure. I am guys. Guys love boats. I mean, not boats. Dad jokes. Guys also love boats. I am guys. Guys love boats. All right, let's freaking go.
Onward.
He's on a boat. Listen to this rad music.
Should be able to reach the altar this way.
Guys love boats and dad jokes. That should be on a shirt. It's a ProfNoctis shirt. Oh. But look out! We're coming straight for the Empire over here. Oh my gosh, this is insane! ProfNoctis is the boat brand. Oh no, am I caught? Oh no, I'm stuck on things. Okay, put it in reverse. Reverse. We have gone the wrong way. Okay, Lunchbox. All right. Toward Titan. That is a big Titan butt. Oh, we just got blowed up. Oh, that's fair.
Well, look who it is.
It hasn't been.
One of His Majesty's
Well,
royal retainers be doing here of all
it definitely has been. I just didn't say it. I was lost 4 times. Chat don't lie. The chat don't lie. To the boat, to the boat.
I must thank you for your visit to Fort Father. To allow me to express my gratitude.
Late night stream, Jaja. Jaja, is that a Star Wars reference? Are you referencing Jaja Binks?
And I'll ensure your end is as painful.
You said Jaja?
Then you leave me no choice.
Oh!
They come.
Here they do come.
Plenty more where that came from.
Dodge better, Ignis.
They say one good turn deserves another. And I believe I owe you quite the turn. Once you're out of the way, the ring of the Lucian will be mine.
Oh, hello. Ow. Fog of darkness.
I'm afraid not.
It does, Iken.
It
You're
will
right.
never be yours. I'll make sure of it.
Oh, here we go. It is the snowmobile. I am not good on vehicles. Except that buggy in Rebirth. I'm good with that one. No you don't. No you don't. Get out of there. Yeah. Ow. Prepare yourself! Yeah, Ignis is taking on the entire army. Oh, yeah, I know you didn't just talk bad about Jared. Nobody talks bad about Jared. Okay, where are we at? There we go. Oh! Whoop! And down. Broke. Got him. That was beautiful. Oh, there he is.
Wretch.
You wretch. Ooh! Get got. Smith, you are 100% right. Iggy and Giles comparisons, spot on.
Ravus.
Bye, Felicia. Look at that grade A. You wouldn't have believed it by watching me play, but that was a grade A. Chances. It means more if you whisper it. Chances. What a hero.
I've no quarrel with you, boy.
Chances.
Join
Okay, here we go. Some good music here.
Secure us away to the king and the oracle.
How do I know I can trust you?
Have you any other options?
You have a point.
Then it's settled.
Yeah.
Whoa, team up. Yeah, let's go. Iggy and Ravus together again. The best of friends that anyone could have. Stab like a tonberry. Nice slide, Ignis. More? Let's get the ice out. Wow. This is the first synergy attack. If y'all were in that game show earlier, I am never going to look at synergy abilities the same way ever again after that. Oh my goodness. There was a question that was, which synergy ability best represents you and your partner? I mean, talk about thinking of synergy abilities in a completely different way. Wow. It was funny. Freaking firework blade. I cannot freaking believe Yuna. I now have like a vendetta against Yuna. I told him afterwards, I was like, we need a revenge tour. This is like a grudge match at this point. Oh my goodness. It was funny. That was one of a couple ridiculous questions, for real. It was a fun show though. We really had a good time.
You might be of use after all. Follow me, if you're ready.
Follow me if you're ready. Okay, so chat, before we get into this next part, here's what I want to say. Let's actually just stop right here for a brief second so we can kind of chat. Like we said at the end of chapter 13, moving forward, we're thinking of Noctis as this King of Kings, right? King of Kings, Messianic Christological figure, okay? And so, hey, thank you for the sub, Racy. So we're thinking of Noctis as this Christological figure. So, and by the same token, we're thinking of Arden as more of this anti-king or anti-messiah or anti-Christ figure, which is not just one person, but it's more of a spirit of anti-Christ, right? So anything that sets itself over or against the kingdom of God. It could be Babylon, it could be Rome, it could be anything, right? That kind of steps in opposition to that. So if we think of Noctis as a messianic figure, then we have to think of the others in terms of those kind of relationships. Because the Messiah is a king of kings that's going to restore people to their land and their identity, then it makes sense that the King of Kings, the Messiah, is going to fulfill the same ascension story that kings of the ancient Near East would have, right? Meaning they fulfill trials that reveal the heart of the king as well as increase the reputation and influence. Remember this. Number 2, they have relationships. Number 3, they take on responsibility. And number 4, they bring order to chaos. And so the question for us in this chapter, in episode Arden, and then ultimately in chapter 14 is, how does Noctis do that? And how does Noctis fulfill this kind of framework? And for my class students, how does a Christ figure like Jesus do that, right? And so that's kind of the question. So with Noctis, we have 4 specific roles: a prophet, a protector, a caretaker/advisor, and then finally a close, trusted friend. Hey, thank you, Kelly, so much thank you for the kind words, and we'll see you in the VODs. I really appreciate you hopping in and just to say hi. So have a great night. So I want you to think in terms of if Noctis, and we'll see this more in chapter 14, becomes more of a messianic figure, then what is the messianic expectation? There are two kinds of messianic expectation in the first century, okay? There's probably more than that, but there's two that I'd like to focus on tonight. The first one is similar to what we see in the Gospels. So in Matthew and Luke, Jesus poses a question. Who do people say that I am? And everybody, and the disciples say things like, well, some say you're Moses, Elijah, a prophet, that sort of thing. And then Jesus says, well, who do you say that I am? And they respond, you're the Christ. We believe you're the Christ. You are the King. You are the King of Kings, right? And Jesus says, you've spoken correctly. Now, in his circle of 12, you have a number of different people. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you have three specific people that serve as his royal kind of retinue. Number one, a protector. Number two, a advisor, caretaker sort of type. And then number three, you have a trusted friend. We can actually deduce who these are, okay? And while in my classes, you'll actually get the full lecture of this, I'm going to give you just kind of the answer here. A protector type for Jesus would be Peter, Simon Peter. And the reason that I say this is because when Jesus predicts his death, he says, I'm going to be handed over, I'm going to be crucified, and all that kind of stuff. What does Peter do? He says, no, I'm not going to let that happen. And Jesus said, get behind me, Satan. And he also says, those who live by the sword die by the sword. He said, you've got to let me do this. It's very much a protector sort of thing. In fact, in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he is handed over, there's a servant or a soldier named Malchus. And Peter takes his sword and he slices the guy's ear. And it's kind of an interesting thing. So, but Peter does that, and then Jesus leans down, grabs the guy's ear, and puts it back on his head and heals him. Kind of interesting. So, but Matthew, Mark, and Luke kind of tell this story of all of these sort of characters, but Peter is very much kind of a protector. Now, if you look at narratives of the early church, we know that James is kind of in this triad. Peter, James, and John. James is very much one that's going to be an early church leader. He's going to be a caretaker, kind of a behind-the-scenes sort of thing, but also involved in some of the leadership of the early church. He's not the James that is frequently referred to, say, in the book of Acts, but he is an early church leader. So we see that. And then we see John, by his own admission in the Gospel of John, referring to himself as the beloved disciple. And there's a lot of really cool things. I can do a whole stream on some really neat things with that, with John and the beloved disciple. But that's for another time. What I'd like to say to you is Jesus has those three. Now, chat, who is Jesus's prophet? If there's a king, there always has to be a prophet. And you probably know this. It's the one that prepares the way for the king, the way Luna prepares the way for Noctis. And for Jesus, it's John the Baptizer, right? He goes ahead of Jesus, and he actually baptizes Jesus. Now, this is interesting because Jesus comes to John to be baptized, and John the Baptizer says, whoa. The question is, what is he doing? So this baptism, this is a really interesting concept of baptism here. John is not forgiving and cleansing Jesus of sins, but what is it? Instead, it's the prophet anointing and legitimizing the king's appointment, right? Oh, is this lagging? I'm sorry. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, let me fix it. Give me a quick second, chat. Yeah. Let's see what I can do. Real quick. Let us see what I can do. Yeah. Let us see here. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to fix it, everybody. Okay, let's try some of these. Okay, is it better now? Check, 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 check. Okay, just making sure. One, it's not fixed. Okay. No, you're fine. It's not your fault. It was good, then lagged. Okay. Let's try a few things. Still lagging, right as I asked the question. Awesome. We love that. I don't really know what's happening. The lecture was getting too good. Good. Okay. Well, the only other thing that I can do... Yeah, it may be a network error, but it's not on my end exactly, so... One second. Okay. Are we? Okay, you see and hear me. Okay, we're gonna try. We're gonna see. No lag, we are good. Okay. The screen chat is behind. Okay, then let's get to it, okay? Everybody refresh the video, and we'll be back right to it, okay? All right, are we good? Okay, then I'm going to continue now, and you just shout if it starts to go down again, okay? Okay, we are so back. We are so back. First try. Okay, so here's what we got then. Let me change up a few things because I had to like shift some things around on my desktop to get this. So, okay, now we are back. Oh my gosh. Sorry, my desktop is like murdering me right now. It's like really a UI issue. I don't super love Windows all the time. Okay. We're back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the lag. So as I was saying, John the Baptist becomes Jesus' prophet. I want to talk briefly about the baptism of Jesus. Jesus doesn't go to John the Baptist for a forgiveness and cleansing of his sin, right? In fact, that's what John the Baptist kind of argues. He's like, hey, you don't need to be baptized by me or whatever. And Jesus says it has to happen. So here's what happens next. By being baptized, it's a beautiful sort of thing. This is his prophet anointing him. John the Baptist baptizing Jesus is the prophet legitimizing his kingship. And in the early days of the church, this idea, remember when Jesus is baptized, a voice from heaven says, "This is my son whom I love, with whom I am well pleased," right? And at that point, the Spirit of God descends on Jesus like a dove, it says. And what this essentially means is that there's a claiming on Jesus, this idea of legitimacy to the sonship. So Lunchbox, sometimes it is getting dunked in water, but also got to remember they're in a desert. And so sometimes that means water being dropped on the head, or more likely poured on the head. And so there's 3 different modes of baptism from the first century all the way to today. The idea of baptism, according to this kingship ritual, is not just a purification rite, but it's also a claiming of God and of the church, really, announcing the son or daughterhood of the baptized, right? The child, the claiming of this, quote, child of God. So it kind of mirrors that sort of thing. Isn't that interesting? So think of this as John the Baptizer anointing this King of Kings. Okay, I share all that because this is a traditional sort of understanding of what a Messiah is going to be. This is a king. In this episode, we have 2 perceptions of a Messiah. We have Ignis's understanding of who Noctis is, and we have Ravus's understanding of who Noctis is. Ignis believes in a Messiah, and you're going to hear this, that is a spiritual Messiah who's going to deliver the world from darkness into light. Sound like a New Testament sort of Messiah. But then there's a secondary understanding of Messianic theology, and this is super interesting, and I think it really shows what Ravus is. They're wanting a bit more of a revolutionary kind of resistance Messiah against the overarching structures. So, for instance, Ravus is wanting Noctis to be able to overthrow the empire, right? This idea is that Noctis would be able to resist and overthrow the empire. It's that kind of political Messiah versus a spiritual Messiah. Does that make sense? Ravus does not believe in Noctis at this point. Now, we know from chapter 13 that he does, but Ravus has this idea that if Noctis is the chosen king, he wouldn't have let my mother die when we were kids. If he and Regis were part of this royal line that really was blessed by the gods and chosen by the gods, then why did all of this happen? So he has this perception that a good king would have overthrown the empire, would have done these things. And this is such an interesting thing because these are the 2 primary understandings of what a Messiah is in the first century, and the belief in what they were wanting. So first century Jews, they had a series of people that they might have considered messiahs, right? And as they are looking at Rome, they're waiting on someone to overthrow Rome. I'm going to tell you right now, one of those people that believed that would have been Judas, one of the 12 disciples. Okay, a lot of scholarship has gone into, and I can give you tons of resources on this, and we can talk more in the Discord. But Judas, being the only disciple that's from the south, a very strong lineage with traditional Jewish ideology, very temple-minded, temple-practiced, even having the name Judas from either 2 sources, the name Judah, or from Judas Maccabeus, who's a great hero of the Jewish faith. You can read about him in stories of Hanukkah, right? also believed to be a different type of kind of messianic type figure as well. Judas has this idea of a very overthrow the government sort of Messiah, okay? And you kind of get tastes of this. He's not the only one, but he is the most prominent one in that. So I think that that's really, Ravus has that good king wouldn't allow evil to be mindset. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right, Lunchbox. And so here you get two sides of the same coin. Both are struggling with who Noctis is, right? Ignis is like, I believe he can ascend. He's not there yet. And Ravus is like, then he should be there, and he should overthrow. Now, I don't care about the darkness. I care about the empire. Does that make sense? Okay, so with that as our lens, I want us to move forward in this DLC because I think that it really opens this up really, really well, okay? Anything else, chat? Just want to make sure we got this, especially after the hiccup of the Comcast mini-boss, right? Okay, let's keep going. You can throw questions in the chat, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can, but tonight we're talking about this Messianic understanding and seeing the two... these two sides kind of conflicting with each other. With that, let's get back to it. And we'll notice in some of their conversations coming up here. As God be praised. Interesting, yeah. So, chat, you want to know something funny about Judas's name? Oh man. Ugh! So, Judas is referred to as Judas Iscariot. Are you ready? Oh man, this gets exciting. So Judas Iscariot. Iscariot is not his last name. Iscariot is much more of a moniker similar to how Christ is not Jesus' last name. Iscariot comes from two different words. First, the word ish. Ish in Hebrew is man, okay? The second word is Kariot. Now, there's two ways of translating this, and I think either one can really apply here. The first one is a sort of variant of the word Sakari, okay? So, Ish Sakari, man of the knife. So that has a play on words of like this is a betrayer, a backstabber, also maybe a sort of clan that kind of goes together like a group of mercenaries of sorts. A better understanding of that moniker of Iscariot is this, I think. Ish Kariot, and you go south of Jerusalem to a town called Kariot. Okay? It's just about 10 miles south of a place called Hebron, which is south of Jerusalem. So, it is Judas Iscariot, which is Judas, the man from Kariot. Now, why is that important? Because he is the one who is from the south. And the other disciples largely are from closer to Galilee. All right? And so this is kind of an interesting thing. It's not saying that like all of them have to be, but what it is saying is that Judas isn't really from around here. He's not from the same place as us. So what that means is there's a different understanding of the top, right? The northern folks versus the southern folks. The northern folks, they can worship all over the place, not just at the temple. But the southern folks are very, very temple-minded, so there's a little bit more of that. Never figured out Azunia. The only thing that I can say about Azunia is that it is a variant of the Hebrew name Elizabeth, which could denote Arden's mother in some ways. That's the closest thing that I've got, but it never really explains Azunia. There's a lot of theories out there, though. Does that make sense, everybody? Ish Kariot, man of Kariot. Okay, so there we go. That's a lot of the etymology of Judas's name. With that, let's keep going. Man, woo, we're getting to some things. Yeah, so Jedi, that goes to a larger question of baptism. And there's a lot of thoughts. Baptism washing sins. Baptism is symbolizing a claim of God's grace on someone's life. Baptism, I think, the one of the best examples is if the Gospels are kingship narratives, then for John the Baptist, it's very much the prophet is anointing the king. Oh, Smith, that's awesome! In The Chosen, he identifies himself as Judas from Carrion. I have not watched that, so that's awesome. I love that. That's research backed. That's research based. Heck yes, that's awesome. That's great. So that has a whole lot of stuff. In fact, I give a series of 5 lectures on Judas Iscariot, which is like amazing. So anyway, that's for another time. Baptism is participation in Jesus' death. Yeah, water is a symbol of death in that respect. So again, baptism as a symbol. The biggest thing, though, some traditions are going to say it's about salvation. Some are going to say that it's a symbol, but not necessary for salvation, but it certainly doesn't, hurt or anything. But the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this stream isn't necessarily the theology of baptism, but the symbolism of how it is naming Jesus as the Son of God, which is also a phrase that is used for a king, a Messianic king. And maybe even more than that those who are baptized are co-heirs with the Christ in the kingdom of God. Okay, let's keep going, because we got some conversations to have with old Ravus here. Symbolism of the anointing of the king. That's exactly right.
You needn't waste your time. I've ordered a full retreat. They'll be gone soon enough.
Very well.
Okay, now listen to how those two messianic understandings are conveyed here. Really cool.
Why turn against the Empire? Why now?
My sister's life is at stake. Is that not reason enough?
Oh.
The paths we tread may differ, but the blood coursing through our veins is one. So too is our calling. I must protect her.
Okay, let's talk about the arm.
What of it?
I have doubts that you were born with a prosthetic.
Your doubts are correct. I once believed it was I who was destined to dispel the darkness. This is proof I was wrong.
One of the things that I say in one of my lectures about Judas in his name is that just as parents name their children after those who exhibit attributes, or they want to give some kind of namesake purpose to their kids, it is very likely that Judas's parents named him either from, number one, Judah, which is one of the tribes, and was the name of the southern state when the kingdom was split in two, or naming him after, like I said earlier, Judas Maccabeus. And the idea there is that Judas might grow up to defend and protect the Jewish heritage in a time of Roman occupation. So I love what Ravus says there. Let's ask about Noct.
Is it safe to assume this means you'll lend Noct a hand?
Don't be asinine. Our interests may have aligned in this moment, but I have not allied myself with him.
All right, let's go. To the altar.
The Empire is after the ring of the Lucii. If the ring falls into the wrong hands, I fear there's little hope for either of them.
Then we must hurry.
I'm excited to play Death Stranding 2. I never beat the first one, though, so I need to finish that up.
Haven't much time.
I'm aware.
Okay. Stealth
Tread
kill.
quietly.
I know. Yeah, that's what I would say. Ignis, even though we might typically say that Ignis is more of an advisor, here he seems to have on more of a Peter type idea, right? But Ravus is definitely that mentality. But I would say that instead of exact replicas, these are mentalities, and Ravus has a Judas mentality. Ignis has more of a Peter mentality here. A doubting Thomas vibe, yeah, there could be some doubting Thomas there. Yeah. Well, the question is, and this is for a completely different lecture and different stream, but why did Judas do what he did, right? The Gospel of John says it's for money. The Gospel of Luke versus Matthew says that he became a traitor versus he was a traitor, which kind of denotes that he wasn't always that way. Anyway, if you're interested, I can give you a link to some lectures that I've given on that in the past. So
Let's make this quick.
Gladly.
yeah, I'll help you out with that. Nice, Iggy. They sure did stab like tonberries. Blame Talcott, always.
Don't get in my way.
So long as you stay out of mine.
So long as you stay out of mine.
Tell me, do you truly believe Noctis is the
That's
one?
what I hear, Smith. Oh,
I
here.
believe it goes without saying.
Yet when the flames of war enshrouded Tenebrae, his father spared us nary a second thought. No savior king could possibly be born of such cowardice.
Do you hear it? That's it.
Aid the king is the oracle's calling, is it not? Or have you simply forgotten the pledge sworn by your forebears?
I have not forgotten, nor have I forgiven.
Right? How cool is that? So. Okay, rest here. We will rest here. Yeah, Noctis was 8. And he also kind of blames Regis more, right? He blames Regis and this idea that can anything good come out of Nazareth, right? Can anything good come from a lowlife like Regis that let my mother die and my home be burned?
Time is.
Let's end it. Yeah.
Ignis' hair game is always perfect. Yeah. Yeah, so funny story about the Gospels. Let's talk about this while I'm fighting. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to explain something called the Synoptic tradition. The Gospel of Mark was the first Gospel that was written. It was written approximately around 50 AD or 50 CE, depending on your preference. And the idea was Mark was written by the interpreter of Peter to the Greeks. And so he took some of the lessons from Peter and he wrote those things down. That's why it's the shortest and it's also the least detailed. Then you have Matthew, who had access to Mark's gospel and also a source of his own. Matthew's gospel came out about a decade and a half later after Mark's, and it was primarily written from a Jewish perspective. At least that's what most theologians in history is going to tell us. That's why in Matthew's gospel there's a leaning to say, and that's why this happened, it was fulfilled in scripture in this way, right? Then about another 15 years later, the Gospel of Luke comes out. The Gospel of Luke is primarily written for the Gentiles, and from a Gentile perspective, there's a lot of reasons for that. But within the Gospel of Luke, it's written by one who claims to be a physician, or is believed to be a physician. He becomes a Christian when he crosses paths with the Apostle Paul. And then, because he's curious about learning more and more about the story of Jesus, he takes upon himself to go and research these things, right, on his own. He says this.
Well enough.
You're resilient, I'll give you that.
So Matthew, Mark, and Luke all have different perspectives of who Jesus is, but they tell basically the same story. It's why it's called the synoptic tradition. It means synoptic is same sight, same eye, right? So you have these three Gospels. Then you've got a fourth Gospel. This is John's Gospel. It's written probably around 90 to 95 AD, okay? So after the other three Gospels. The Gospel of John assumes that you've read Matthew, Mark, and Luke. That's pretty important because John's Gospel isn't going to include all the things that are in there, the others, but if it does include some of those stories, it gives a different symbolic understanding of what's happening. In fact, John's Gospel is not interested in how things historically happened. It's not about what happened. John assumes that you understand that. But John's Gospel is more interested in explaining why Jesus did those things. That's why John's Gospel says, this was the first sign, or this is the second sign. And it usually denotes miracles and things like that. Timelines are not really in John's interest. That's Matthew, Mark, and Luke's sort of stuff. But John's is a spiritual gospel that gives you the why of belief. Make sense, everybody? So I mentioned that because we're talking about different perspectives of the Messiah, and each of these four Gospels is a unique lens that helps us have a fuller understanding of what Jesus means and Messiahs mean to people. Okay, let's keep going.
The true king. He still has much to prove.
Ravus?
The darkness will not wait for his ascent. It will consume our star, and all upon it.
I know. He may not yet grasp the gravity of his calling, but once he does, he will rise to the occasion and fulfill his destiny.
One can only hope you're right.
Okay, let's go. Oh, I guess we talked to Ravus. Let's head to the altar,
quickly.
everybody.
Right. Knocked!
Luna Freya.
Oh, you guys.
Are you her dog?
Now, before we get into this, I want to recall that moment that I mentioned earlier when Jesus says, I tell you the truth, I will be handed over, I will be crucified, I'll be put to death, right? And Peter says, no, I'm not going to allow that to happen. How does Ignis's response here begin to shape that sort of mentality? So let's watch.
A power greater than even that of the Six, purifying all by the light of the crystal and the glaives of rulers past. Only at the throne can the chosen receive it, and only at the cost of a life, his own. The King of Kings shall be granted the power to banish the darkness, but the blood price must be paid. To cast out the usurper and usher in dawn's light will cost the life of the chosen. Many sacrificed all for the king, so must the king sacrifice himself for all. Now enter into reflection, let the light of providence shine within.
What did I just see? A vision of what's to come?
So let's stop for a second. This is massive. If Ignis just saw something that he believes is something that's coming, he knows about the prophecy for Noctis before Noctis knows. And what is Ignis going to do? This is what I want you to. This is what I want you to think about. If Ignis has seen this vision, doesn't he want to stay with Noctis? Doesn't he want to make sure that Noctis isn't going to fall prey to that fate? This is why in chapter 10, even though he knows that he's a liability, even though he knows that he can't see, he's the only one that knows what could happen to Noctis, and he wants to fight against it. Make sense? He's the one that's going to try to advise and protect and be there for Noctis. And this is such a powerful explanation of this. Okay? It's the reason why he can't leave Noctis. He's the only one that knows. And that's such a powerful impetus for Ignis, that regardless of everything, he's going to do it. And so, with that, we kind of move forward. Ignis is not fighting for himself or for his friendship. He's fighting for his king, right? Let's watch.
Noct!
Meanwhile, Ravus is fighting for his sister.
No.
First, the Lucians stole from me my mother. And now they make a sacrifice of my sister. Get out of my way! What are you doing? What I should have done long ago, ridding us of this menace. Stand in my way and you
Yeah, a lot of groups do think that, yeah.
come to your senses, man.
Yeah, Iken, that's such a great point, right? Luna continuing to heal Noct even as she is fading from this world.
But Noct isn't the one who did this to her.
Listen to this dialogue. I'll shut up so you can hear this.
Too late.
Lady Lunafreya came to her king's aid in a time of need. She was fulfilling her
Great
calling.
music, right?
Like a sacrifice. She didn't need to die.
Hey, Lunchbox, I appreciate the difficult questions. We have time in my classes where we kind of allow for any question, anything goes. I sometimes have to tell the class
Sacrifice will have been Noct. Kill him, and you kill her hopes for the future.
to stay on topic, but we do allow time for that.
That my sister will never see.
Do you hear this? It's a future my sister will never see. And you almost hear the realization in Ravus that his dream of what the Messiah could do is crumbling around him, right? And I think that that's such a powerful phrase, right? A powerful realization.
Fall to my blade.
And you kind of get this mentality with, I would say, Judas to some degree. I'll talk about Judas's fate in a moment.
Perish in despair.
Right?
Power of the storm.
He's got that rizzed up hair.
Noct didn't choose to become king. His ascension was ordained by the crystal. It wasn't mere happenstance. It was a mistake, one that must be corrected. You, of all people, must understand how Noct feels. Bereft of both parents, forced to carry on despite losing those you love. You both feel that pain. I feel nothing. Death to Noctis and his men!
Sure seems to be.
It's ocean pawn!
There we go. Let's go.
Prepare yourself!
Woo! didn't really believe in him before now, no. He didn't. But I'll bring that up in just a moment. Ah! Ignis can do flips.
Through my blade.
Got him. What a hit. Through his bad arm.
I always knew. You would face your fate without fear, fulfill your duty without regret. But part of me always hoped that I might see you happy one day, your burdens lifted, free to live and love as you please.
Doesn't that sound almost like a lament that those in the first century who believed that Jesus might have overthrown Rome might have felt? I had always dreamed that we might be happy, that our kingdom might be restored, that you might be able to live as you wanted to. I mean, what a sorrowful sort of thing, right? And I think that Ravus mourning that is what a lot of people have to do, right? Where you realize that, number one, the life that you once wanted and thought you would have, you're not going to get. Number two, if it's more religious, that this thing that I believed for, this one that I believed in, turns out to be something else. It's kind of this idea of unanswered prayer, or there was such a misunderstanding with what Jesus came to do as a Messiah. And I think that that's a really interesting parallel here. I'll get more to that in just a moment. Let's watch.
You would have made a beautiful bride. Even in death, the oracle does not rest. Only once the darkness is dispelled is her calling truly fulfilled.
That's good. That's good.
And as in life, I know she will confront that challenge with a smile on her face.
It's so good.
Sister, please don't go. Please don't leave me.
Yeah, it's amazing. Right, it can. Yes. It's beautiful. Again, grade A. What's up, everybody? I mean, isn't that powerful? Just these two protectors, again, fighting against each other's mentality. He dreams for Luna and for a different kind of king and prince, and Ignis is fighting for the kind of spiritual Messiah that Noctis seems to be, which we talked about in chapter 13. We'll talk more about it in chapter 14. Let's continue. Oh, one final thing that I will say about all of this, just because there's not going to be another place to do it. Let me zoom in here. Do you remember how Ravus dies? Do you remember? We showed this on stream on chapter 13. Ravus is in front of Emperor Aldercapt, and he says, I will give this sword to Noctis, and the ring goes to, it belongs with the one true king, the rightful king, right? And so here Ravus in front of Emperor Aldercapt is saying, this is who it is, right? Like, it is Noctis, it's not you. You will never be king, Noctis is. And so the emperor sentences him to death and casts him out. But then he falls to the ground. He sees Noctis coming forward, and it's actually Arden. And what does he do? He professes to Noctis, you are the chosen king. Here is the sword. And what happens? Well, it's Arden. And Arden, in the form of Noctis, kills Ravus. And so the last thing that Ravus realizes and thinks is that if it's all these kind of thoughts of like, but I did believe in you, and you've turned on me, or maybe you're not who I thought you were. I want to share this with you. And so we've kind of compared Ravus to Judas in some ways. This is the way Judas dies. It says early in Matthew chapter 27, it says, early in the morning, all the chief priests and the elders of the people made their plans how to have Jesus executed. So they bound him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate, the governor. When Judas, who had betrayed him, saw that Jesus was condemned, he was seized with remorse. Listen to this. And he returned the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders. So they had given this to him, right? And he says, listen to this, I have sinned, for I have betrayed innocent blood. So it's not identical, right? But there's something in Judas that's like, I did this, right? And some of the arguments that I've heard and I've researched, and I may even share to a degree, with why Judas does what he does. In addition to his own greed, which is definitely evident in the Gospel of John especially, there could also be this sense of, if I can just force Jesus's hand, then he will overthrow Rome, right? If I can just put him in a corner, then he'll come out fighting and swinging as the revolutionary Messiah that he could be. And then it goes terribly, terribly wrong. And so when Judas sees that Jesus is being handed over to death, what does he do? He tries to make it right. And he goes to the chief priests and he says, here's the money. Like, I've betrayed innocent blood. Like, this is wrong, right? And so the response there is, they say, what is that to us? That's your responsibility. And so it says, then Judas threw the money into the temple and left, and then he went away and he took his own life, right? He hangs himself from that. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different theological questions about this. My interest in this is, what makes him do that, right? And so and I'm not giving a qualifier on this as to like whether he did or not, but if Judas is filled with remorse, then what do you do at that point? Now, for Christians and for Jews and for most religious people, if you feel a sense of guilt over things that you've done, then the first thing you do is you go through a confessional purification sort of ritual, depending on the religion. And in Christianity, it is about confessing your sin, and it's about, kind of experiencing the grace of God. Now, here's the big thing. For Judas, what is his sin, right? What is the thing that he's done? He's handed over the, quote, Son of God, the Messiah, the King of Kings, the spiritual Messiah, over to death. And if Jesus is the spiritual Messiah who will take away the sins of the world, and Judas doesn't really know the whole story yet, or doesn't believe the whole story, even though Jesus said, I'll rise on the third day, then does Judas feel as though he has foiled God's plan for saving humanity? And if that's the case, then who do you pray to? If you have subverted and foiled God's plan, who do you pray for forgiveness to? You've abandoned your people, the disciples, but you've also abandoned God. And so there's this mentality of like, what is there left for me to do? And he tries to make it right. He's not able to, and he feels betrayed, or not betrayed. He feels as though his betrayal is too much. Does that make sense, everybody? I'm not condoning it or anything like that, but please hear me. But what I'm trying to do is offer a framework. The difference between, meanwhile, you've got the Apostle Peter, who had denied Jesus 3 times, right? And what happens when Jesus rises from the dead? Jesus meets him at breakfast. This is in John chapter 20 and 21. You get both kind of accounts here. He meets Peter at breakfast, and he reinstates Peter by saying, hey, do you love me? Then feed my sheep. Do you love me? It's this kind of thing, right? And so with Peter, he's reinstated after his sin. The question is, what if Judas had held on for 3 days, right? If Judas had held on for 3 days, the only difference between Peter and Judas at the end is that Peter had a resurrected Jesus to pray to and return to, right? Judas didn't have that yet, and he ended things before that were to happen. Does that make sense? And I would say to Christians and people that are religious and that's their tradition, the only difference between you and Judas is that you have a resurrected Jesus that you believe in, right? And so like people like to villainize Judas, but I think it's more helpful maybe to say, yeah, there's a little bit of Simon Peter in us and the disciple John, but there's also a little bit of Judas Iscariot in us. And yes, okay, Iken, that's the interesting thing is that Judas is who he was meant to be, who Paul became. I actually hold on to that, right? Because just as Paul/Saul was a persecutor of Christians, Judas, quote, persecuted and betrayed Christ, right? And so Paul ends up being the one that spreads the gospel to the outsiders, much like Judas was an outsider from the South, and yet he was also deeply Jewish, right? I think there's a beautiful sort of parallel there. I think that's really, really, really cool. So I think it's good to kind of feel and think through some of these things. We were talking earlier about devil's advocate questions. This is a great devil's advocate question, right? What do you do with Judas and stuff? So can you also bring up a really good point that Demon Ravus is angry at Arden, not Noctis. And the question there is, yes, at the end, he is reanimated and he's got this like, he's under the control, or he's been resurrected, I guess, by Arden into this like puppeteer sort of Starscourge demonic form. But that final death scene is his sort of like, he's feeling kind of alone and betrayed even by Noctis. Isn't that interesting? Right? Yeah. Okay, so there's some things for you to think about. But the first time that I saw Ravus's death scene, I immediately said, oh, he went to the chief priests. And he said, basically, like, this is not right. And then he doesn't have anyone to go to, and that's what happens. So there you go. There's my 2 cents on that, all from Messianic theology. Okay, let's keep going. A little bit longer, a little bit more. Sacrifices. Hey, what's up? What is going on? Thank you for the raid, Mist. Oh my gosh, amazing. How you doing? What is up? What is up? Thank you so much for the raid, friend.
Oh, you all right? Where's Prompto?
Let me just give a quick shout out, everybody. Mist, what is going on? Welcome in, everybody. Mistraker is a great streamer. We worked together a little bit on some publications and stuff, and just Mist is awesome. So y'all definitely go give him a follow. Everybody, if you are in here for the first time, let me introduce myself. Let me zoom in. Let me introduce myself. My name is Professor Noctis. I am a University of Alabama faculty member where I teach religion and philosophy and psychology and literature all through video games, specifically religious studies through Final Fantasy 15. And you are hopping in for the end of our episode Ignis lecture play. So thanks for hopping on in. Mist, how the heck are you doing? You're playing some Rebirth? No spoilers, friend. I am only in chapter 10, but I am loving that game. All right, let's get back to it. Gladio shows up.
Well, what have we here?
You, Arden.
Oh dear. Was I that transparent?
Oof. Ah, thanks, Mist.
The game's up, my boy.
Hey, that's good, Iken. I like that.
Come now, why not follow your liege's lead and stop resisting?
Never!
You risked life and limb to safeguard the King of Kings, only to witness him fail so spectacularly. You must be so disappointed.
Unhand him!
I know I am. Oh, what good is a world that only ever lets you down? Why not end it all right here?
No. You can't. Nacht!
My, you two certainly have become fast friends. Permit me to make a suggestion. Rather than follow this flotsam and float away to a watery grave, why not come with me? What do you say?
All right, we're going to fight back. That's the canon way of doing it. And we'll come back after chapter 14.
I'll take that as a no.
I swore an oath to stand with Noct and keep him safe. Whatever
So
it
good.
takes, I will protect him.
Ugh! And he puts on the ring, you guys. Ah!
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
I may not be of blood, but if a glaive can harness its power, then so can I.
Rare Nyx.
Kings of Lucis, lend me your strength.
Rare Nyx Ulrich from Kingsglaive reference. If a glaive can do it, so can I. Watch. Oh, gosh. Bye, Frankie. Have a good one. Thanks for hopping in.
Well, they've shown you their favor.
Yeah, so that's something we can talk about.
Well, If you're so keen on keeping him safe, I'd like to see.
So, Ignis puts on the ring and he survives, right? But it's important to realize that by putting on the ring, it doesn't necessarily mean death. What it means is that there's a plan. If you survive, there's a plan for you that pertains to the chosen king, right? So the gods and the kings, rather, still think that Ignis can be useful to Noctis' journey, which we know is also the truth. Also, remember that Ravus put on the ring and he lost his arm, but not his life. There was still a utility to it, right? And in the same way, Ignis putting on the ring, well, there's still a goal, but there's still a role for him with Noctis. But what's taken is his sight, right? Ravus always depended on his prowess with the sword, kind of like a Jaime Lannister type from Game of Thrones. And so what was taken from him was his arm, right? Meanwhile, Ignis has always relied on his sight to be able to see and all that kind of stuff. To see very clearly is what I mean, not just see. And that's taken from him as the advisor. A bee, boo. Mm-hmm. A retainer's resolve. Ooh, good stuff, right? Oh, still got an A. Amazing. I am amazing. Thank you. Okay, let's enjoy the ending. There is an alternate ending, but we're not going to watch it until after chapter 14, okay? Yeah, exactly. It can, yes.
That was rather reckless.
That was rather.
Where's Noct? Is he all right?
More or less. All thanks to you.
Thank goodness.
Be still. Conserve your strength. You've a calling to fulfill. As do I. May fortune favor us both. And you as well, Noctis.
Yeah.
Please, forgive me.
Gosh. Yeah. And it's just amazing because Ignis doesn't tell Noctis or the guys what he knows. Because he doesn't want to, like, invoke it, right? You don't want to tell Noctis, like, this is what I saw, because you don't want him to be scared. You want to keep helping him. But you also can't leave him alone. He knows the whole time. And it's just like, it's just powerful stuff. Ah, gosh, I love it. Because he loves Noctis, and he believes in Noctis, and it's like, no, I'm not going to let you die. And that to me is so like when Peter says that, right? It's just powerful. And he doesn't want to seem hurt or in need. Yeah. And there's no deterring him, right? It is why he gets so mad at Gladio. He knows more, but he's not willing to say it out loud to the others because he doesn't want to bring that. This scene, I'm going to shut up for a second. This is...
How are you feeling? Knocked. Perhaps it might be best if we brought our journey to a close. Why? It's just that we've already lost so much. Too much.
Are you kidding me? That's exactly why I have to keep going. Because if I give up now, their sacrifices would have been for nothing. And you of all people, you should know that better than anyone.
The decision is yours to make, and yours alone. But do remember, we will stand with you always, and help you bear your burdens. Don't be afraid to let us share the load.
Gosh, great job.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Here they are in chapter 13. And Ignis knows what Arden is by this point. I mean, this is... And I mean, just that... it's so powerful, so good. It does that near. It does that. Gosh. And then chapter 14, we'll experience this next week. Oh, for real. You gotta... this part's great. So, when they go camping.
You know, looking back, it wasn't all bad.
I suppose we had some fun along the way.
And our fair share of trouble, too. But I don't have any regrets. Luna and you guys brought me this far. And now, I'm on my own.
No, you won't be going alone.
No, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't have made it all this way without you guys. Why stop now? In the end, I might not have you at my side, but I'll always have you in my heart. Oh. Thanks. Thanks for everything, Iggy.
Bless. My Lord. That's good, isn't it? Oh my gosh. You guys. I'm allergic to something in here. Woof. That was so good. That was so freaking good. Like I said, we'll come back and we'll do the alternate version after chapter 14. Okay? Just wow. Wow. Good stuff, right? Let's chat, do some quick wrap up here. So I want you to really take that in, okay? Episode Ignis is a lot of different things, but it, to me, in the context of this class, it is the understanding that there are two understandings of what it means to be a Messiah, right? It's the revolution Messiah and the spiritual Messiah, and Ignis really holds on to this idea that Noctis is going to fight back the darkness, the Star Scourge, and bring a calm to the divine tension, whereas Ravus hoped that he might bring freedom from the Empire and peace to his sister. But when his dream falls apart, when Ravus's dream falls apart, he does come around so that Luna's life would be preserved in some ways in a legacy. And that's a really powerful sort of dichotomy in this chapter. So next week, we're going to continue to talk a little bit more about Messianic theology. Oh, it is? Okay, sorry. Yeah, let me just turn that down. Next week, we are going to talk a little bit about Messianic theology more. Tuesday, we're going to go through episode Arden. We're going to watch the anime together for the first 15 minutes, and then we're going to play the episode Arden DLC, really focusing on the story. Some really great stuff there. Then, on Thursday of next week, it's going to be a big stream. We're doing the entirety of chapter 14. All right? It's going to be amazing. So, it's going to be an amazing, amazing time. So, with that, everybody, thanks for the late night stream. And I hope that you have the best freaking weekend of your life. Not Lunchbox, you would be surprised. You would not fail my class. In fact, it's hard to fail my class. As long as you come to class, you pretty much pick up on this. Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be amazing on Tuesday. Don't miss it. Same time, not same time, 7 p.m. Central Time. And with that, everybody, y'all have a phenomenal weekend. Bye, everybody.